This session is for pre-med, pre-dental, pre-pharmacy, pre-optometry, pre-vet, pre-podiatry, or pre-chiropractic. That's a lot of pre's to remember. If you're pre-PA, pre-PT, pre-OT, they are down the hall, down that way. If you are going there, bring a chair with you, because they're out of chairs. So if you're pre-PA, pre-PT, pre-OT, down the hall in room 2204. On your chairs, you have a couple handouts, and you have a little raffle ticket. If you could put your name, your email address, and your pre-professional area. We have a little raffle. We're going to be raffling off some t-shirts and some coffee mugs, things like that. So we will email you after today if you do win one of those. We'll ask you to leave them on the end chair in your row when you leave today. Okay? So before we get started, up on the screen, we just wanted a visual for you. When you go to professional school, you have a ceremony called the white coat ceremony. In fact, Joanne and I are going to be going to the Michigan State College of Human Medicine white coat ceremony on Sunday. You walk across the stage and you get a white coat with your name stitched in it. When you're a med student, it's a little bit shorter, so it's maybe about the length of my jacket. When you get into residency, it gets a little bit longer, and then when you become a full physician, it's the longest coat. So just kind of a nice visual of some of our students. We do have 2 students at Harvard right now. This is Harvard Dental School, and we also have somebody at Harvard Med School, so that was exciting. We have lots of students at Michigan State, other schools around the state, and all around the country. So this could be you in 4 years. All right. So just to get started, my name is Julie Ammon Maddox, and I work in the Class Academic Advising Center, and I'm part of our pre-professional advising team. The Class Advising Center, anybody know what building it's in? Mackinac, yeah? Whoever said that, awesome. So we're in Mackinac Hall. You'll find out how to make appointments with us and a little bit more about faculty advising and everything during this presentation. So the first thing I want everybody to do is take out your cell phones. Okay. And I want you to go to a website. That's going to be gbsu.edu/CLAS advising. That's the Class Advising Center's website. CLAS stands for College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. It's not that we just don't know how to spell the word class. It's only one S. So gbsu.edu/CLAS advising. And bookmark that page, remember that, because that's our website. That's how you're going to schedule an appointment with us, is right on our website. At the very bottom of the page, see there's a Facebook link? There's a Facebook link to our Facebook page. Okay? So go ahead and click on the Facebook link, and we want you all to like our page. And Sue, if you want to raise your hand right there, she's actually, other hand, she is actually going live right now on Facebook. So we'd encourage you all to follow our Facebook Live event that we're hosting right now as we speak. Please turn the volume all the way down so that I don't hear my voice echoing. That would be kind of annoying. So make sure that you do that, and then I encourage you to ask questions as we go. We are going to try to leave questions at the very end for you, but if you ask questions as we go, we're going to kind of be monitoring that and be responding to those either during the session or we will respond to you on Facebook afterwards. Sound good? Okay. All right, so I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, but again, my name is Julie Ammon Maddox. I see all pre-professional students. So like I said, med, dental, pharmacy, you heard me list them all. I also see anybody who's a biomedical science major, biology non-teaching, chemistry non-teaching, physics, cell and molecular biology, and biochemistry. I've been with the center for about 5 years now and love working at Grand Valley, so it's nice to meet you guys. I'm going to pass the mic on and let my colleagues introduce themselves.
Hi everybody, I'm Joanne Litton. I do pre-med, pre-dent, pre-pharm, pre-chiro, pre-vet, and I do biomedical sciences, chemistry non-teaching, cell and molecular biology, teaching, biology. I advise the pre-med club that meets on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. I advise the pre-pharmacy club that meets on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. That's a trick. They usually flip-flop, so it's every other week when they're meeting. And Julie and I split advising pre-chiro and the pre-optometry clubs.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention the clubs that I advise. So I advise, like Joanne said, we share the pre-optometry club and the pre-chiropractic club. I also advise the pre-MD PhD club. Those are people that want to be in school a really long time to get their MD and their PhD. I advise the pre-dental club, and I advise the pre-professional council. Oh, somebody's got their body bug. Pre-professional council, which is that's a council with people from all the pre-professional club. E-board members will sit on that council and plan different events. So later on in our presentation, you'll see a picture from the pre-professional philanthropy night. So, thanks.
Hello everyone, my name is Brian Eichenhout. I am new to the pre-professional team as of about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I will be advising for psychology and behavioral neuroscience as majors, and then anybody who is interested in pre-med. I've been at Grand Valley in the same office as Julie for about 7 years, and I've done most of my previous work with the social sciences.
Can everybody hear me? No? Okay. I'm Dr. Deborah Harrington. I'm in the chemistry department at Grand Valley, and I am also the associate chair.
I'm Dr. Berg, and I'm in biomedical sciences, and I'm an assistant chair there to work with students in all kinds of different capacities, advising and those sorts of things.
And then Sue, I'll introduce you since you're running our Facebook Live, but if you could wave your hand, Sue works in our front office. You'll see her quite a bit when you come into the office, and she supports the pre-professional team. So.
So the first thing that we wanted to talk to you a little bit today about is that you have 2 advisors, and you'll notice this if you log into your MyPath. You'll have one listed. Usually that is your faculty advisor, and I'll let them talk a little bit about faculty advising.
So your faculty advisor is a professor in your major, whatever that major is going to be. And they will help you particularly with different questions you might have related to your major or to the career that that major might lead to. So, and opportunities that have to do with that particular major. So for example, even this summer, I've had students who are doing internships. Some of them are studying abroad. When they study abroad, they need help figuring out which classes will count here from wherever they're going. And so we have to look at that and help them decide what's a good choice. When they want to do internships to help prepare them for a job down the road, I am the one that helps with the paperwork on that and monitors their progress to make sure everything gets done properly. If they're trying to decide on electives in the major, or they want to go somewhere and do research, all those sorts of things that really have more to do with your major than Grand Valley in general. Now, we can help you with all those other things too, but we have another advisor that can help with that. Do you want to add?
So in addition to what Dr. Berg said, I want to stress the importance of getting to know your faculty advisor, right? Because all of you who are interested in going on to medical or pharmacy or whatever, you're going to need letters of recommendation, right? And it's really important to actually build relationships with faculty so that they can write you really good letters of recommendation. So I teach large general chemistry sections. I get to know all of my students' names in the sections, and they think because I know their name, I know something about them, but I don't. And I know their name, I can tell somebody how they did in my class, but I can't write a really strong recommendation letter based on that, and I get asked to write them all the time because I know their name. Right? So it's really important to get to know your faculty advisor, right, and build that relationship with them. So go see them early. But you can also build those relationships with other faculty members too, right? So when you're in classes, ways you can do that is instead of just sending an email to your professor to ask your questions, you can actually go to their office hours and see them face to face and start building those relationships now. So that when it comes time to get those letters, you have these people to go to who really know you.
And then on the other side of that, you have what's known as a professional advisor. That would be somebody like myself, Julie, or Joanne, who kind of looks at the big picture of things. So how many credits do I have left to graduation? Am I fulfilling credits within my major? If I have a minor, am I fulfilling that sort of stuff? All of that sort of general graduation stuff. We'll also look at some of the professional school applications. Joanne and Julie do a really good job of helping you navigate through that process as well. It's a really, really in-depth process. So when they say meet with your advisor once a semester, take them for that. You really should meet with them at least once a semester to make sure that you're on track for everything. The stakes are so high with that. If you were to change majors, we have other things listed here with like teacher certification. If you were to change that, our office handles some of that stuff too, but you'll know based off of a list of all the majors where you'll need to go based off of your major. And if you could do me a favor real quick, you have I believe everybody has a later guide. If you can pull that book out a second. If you go to page 6, it's in the bottom left-hand corner. It talks about your roles and responsibilities in advising. A couple of things, you just want to be prepared when you're meeting with your advisor, so take some notes when you go into My Path and see kind of what some of your next courses might be. Write down some questions that you may have. It could be major specific, it could be regarding med school, that sort of thing. But you'll want to be prepared for those. You don't want to just show up and not have an idea of what the discussion will be, because you should help lead some of that discussion. And then knowing the academic calendar, there's certain dates throughout the semester. So as an example, there's a drop deadline that you should know about. There's midterm exams, there's final exams. You want to be knowledgeable of all of that. So go in there, it's listed on Grand Valley's site. Make notes of those in a planner, but you want to be aware of all that, okay? And then this is just some information about how you would contact your advisor. So if you go into Banner, you would select student and then select student records, and then go to view major and advisor information, and that should list your advisor. So for those of you that are listed as pre-professional, you'll probably have 2 majors declared. Maybe if you're undecided, you might just have pre-professional right now. So for example, if you were a biomedical sciences major, that's listed as your primary major, and then pre-professional would be your second one. And you'll have a faculty or a pre-professional team member listed as your go-to person for that. And then across that in the green, Julie has already shown you our class advising website. And then there's our address. We're in the Mackinac Hall in the C portion of that on the first floor. We have a couple of different ways that we can make an appointment for you, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we have walk-in hours all of next week. So Monday through Friday, it's from 9 to noon, and then from 1 to 4. So if you have any quick questions, or you just need to see what kind of class you should be in, stop by and see one of us. We also have walk-in Wednesdays throughout the rest of the semester. So every Wednesday after that, you can stop by and get some quick questions answered.
For those of you that only at freshman orientation declared only pre-professional preparation, and we had many of those of you that did that this summer because you weren't ready to declare an academic major, you cannot graduate with pre-professional preparation as your major. You probably heard us say in the summer we're kind of tagging you like a picture on Facebook. So at some point you will declare a major in chemistry, biomedical sciences, whatever it might be, and then you will get a faculty advisor as well. So you'll need to get that second major at some point.
And then previously, Julie had you bookmark our class advising homepage. And then once you get to that page, and I'll show you here in a second. So if you go to our class advising, it will bring up our homepage. We've just got some information. You can find information about majors, minors, who your advisor might be. But there's an important link right here, this schedule appointment. Okay, so you'll click on schedule appointment, and then it brings you to this next page, and you'll want to read this in its entirety because it distinguishes who you should be meeting with in our office. Generally, as pre-professional students though, you'll go to this pre-professional button, and you'll click on that, and it kind of tells you what group you're a part of there. And then it gives you a list of all of the advisors in our office that work with pre-professional students, and then you can click on their name and it will give you what their availability would be. So if you say, hey, I want to meet with Joanne Friday, September 8th, they've got a list of different dates there, so I select that and then show time slots. And then you can pick one of those half-hour increments. We typically have half-hour appointments, and then other appointments could go for an hour in certain circumstances. So if you wanted Friday at 9:30, you would click on that, and then it asks you to log in using your network login, and then your password for that, and then it will take you through a series of other things. So you can list what you want to talk with your advisor about. If you have any other concerns, it just ask for some demographic information, and then it will have you confirm that. You'll get a reminder email 24 hours in advance, so you kind of know, hey, my appointment's tomorrow, I better get those questions ready and be prepared for that. The other thing that I'd like to take a second to show you is our blueprint for student success. And again, if you go into that Laker guide, there are a few different timelines that you can take a look at, and these are pretty helpful in terms of making sure that you get the full experience at Grand Valley. So it's really easy to say, hey, I'm just going to go to class and do the best that I can. But as professional students, there are lots of different things that you need to do, a lot of shadowing opportunities, lots of hours that you have to get. So you want to be knowledgeable of this now so that you're not a junior trying to get all of these hours in. So this blueprint is on the website as well. And it starts off with move in and Laker welcome. You know, we're at transitions right now. The Tuesday after Labor Day, so not this coming Monday or not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, you have class off Monday and Tuesday. That's going to occur Tuesday, is it the 5th or 6th? 5th? Okay, it's on the pink sheet. You'll want to make sure that you attend that because all of the pre-professional clubs will have representatives there, and it's a really good way to meet people and be a part of those clubs and things that you're interested in. So I would highly encourage you to attend that. You also have different things on here, you know, campus recreation, connect with faculty during office hours. That's really, as we heard, that's a really critical piece of this as well. Lots of different things, so go to this website and kind of review some of that. One thing I do want to point out is that this utilize academic resources, to me, seems like it's a little bit too far into the semester. That's something that you wanted to be utilizing early on. So if you are knowing that you're going to struggle in Bio 120, go to the academic support and get that help that you need. You can get a tutor, you can be part of different student groups. It will really be helpful for your success. Meet with your faculty, but make sure to do all of that. And then this has a timeline for the full year for your freshman through senior year, or your first through fourth year. Okay.
So,
Maybe? There we go.
I know that the chemistry department, early on, it's September 14th, has a Meet the Chemistry Faculty Night. It's from 5 to 7 in the library, it's on there. I know some other departments have those too. Those are also really good things that aren't necessarily on that blueprint, but they're on your pink sheet, that you should make note of. Because those are opportunities for you to actually talk to maybe not just the person who's teaching your general chemistry course, but all the faculty. At our night, we have information about research opportunities that you can get involved in. We also, class advising is there, so somebody from class advising is always there. And we have a number of other resources across campus. We have information about jobs that you can get on campus in the chemistry department. We do have information about all of our chemistry supports. So our Chemistry Success Center and the Tutoring Center information is all there too.
Also, Brian was talking about meet with your faculty, and we should probably say, how do you do that? First of all, email is a great way to get hold of us. For me, that's how I remember who was contacting me and what they said, because it's all there in writing. But all of our faculty are required to have office hours. In our department, it's 4 hours a week that we have to have blocked off for students to drop in and have conversation, ask about questions about class, get advising help, whatever it happens to be. That's when you know that your professor will be in their office. A lot of professors will also make appointments if those times don't work. So sometimes you're in class during those hours and you need to make an appointment. So don't be shy about doing that. We want to see you, and either drop in on the regular posted hours or stop by, email, and make an appointment.
So next, I'd like to just review a couple of important dates that are coming up. So the first week of classes, we mentioned we have walk-in advising, but that Friday at 5 is the last time that you can make any changes to your schedule. So if there's any questions that you have, you definitely want to stop by and see us. After that, there's different payments and different things that you have to go through to add a class, and it can be very difficult to do that. So Friday at 5, just make sure that you have your schedule all set. Another thing that you'll encounter in about 3 or 4 weeks is something called My Success Check. This is a survey that we hand out or email out to you. We want to make sure that you're getting the full experience and feel like you're acclimating to Grand Valley. So it asks you some questions about kind of your personal goals and some academic things. So take some time. It takes you about 10 or 15 minutes to complete that, and then we go through and review that, and we'll reach out to students that might need a little bit of extra help in terms of finding resources or knowing where to go on campus. And then one last really important date is registration. So if you remember from freshman orientation, you had a day-long orientation somewhere from May through early August, and you met with a group of students in similar majors and signed up for classes and all of that. Once you complete courses here, that process changes a little bit. In early February, you'll be emailed your specific date that you can go in and register for classes for the next year. So based off of how many credits you've accumulated, you've probably heard us say try to get as close to 15 each semester. Based off of how many credits you've accumulated, you'll be assigned a date that you can go in and register. That process usually starts somewhere around March 20th and goes through early April, depending on your class standing. So it's important for you to come and meet with us so that we can put together a plan of classes so that you'll be on track the following year. Since that opens up mid to late March, you'll want to call our office in early February or mid-February to make an appointment, because if you look around the room, we've got a lot of pre-professional students. We can't see everybody in the same day, and we tend to get booked pretty quickly. So make sure to call us. We've got all of our information. Go on appointment on our website and click that make an appointment button. Make your appointment early. Okay.
So with respect to registration, I know that a number of departments also have group registration nights. And I know in the chemistry department, when we have ours, we always have somebody from class advising there that can help with pre-professional. So that's another option to be able to get questions answered about both the courses in your major as well as the pre-professional.
Okay.
EMS has that too.
We know that you've been being talked at all day, so we're going to take a little break and do some activities. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to stand up and turn to the person next to you and put your hand out and shake their hand and introduce yourself. Remember today, and that is where your name tag is. I learned a long time ago that you put your name tag on the right side because when you go to shake hands, your right shoulder comes forward, your left shoulder goes back. And so you always want to have your name forward. So from now on, when you put a name tag on, let's remember to put it on the right-hand side so somebody can see your name. Now we're going to do a few more activities. Would you please stand if you are taking a class on the Pew downtown campus? Give a look. These are some of the people you're going to see on the 50 connector. So you might look for them maybe in chemistry down there or bio 120 or something like that. So that's good. We're glad you're expanding your horizons and taking on a different campus. Would you please stand if you are going to take a language while you are here at Grand Valley? Thank you very much. You are near and dear to my heart. I was a Spanish major, and so I love anybody that's going to take a language while they're here at Grand Valley. I will tell you that for all of you that are going into healthcare, it isn't just having the fluency in a second language that's so important. But having that language class on your academic record says to a professional school, I understand another culture. I can work with people who don't look like me, who don't talk like me, and so I would encourage you to think about taking another language. If nothing else, I would encourage you to consider taking Latin or Greek, because all of those 7-syllable words that you're going to learn with medical terms are based in Greek or Latin. So just a few things like that. Okay, we'll do some of those other things later. So on the new slide here, you will see that there are 7 of the professional areas that we deal with. You will get to this from our website. If under majors and minors, you simply pick pre-professional. And again, that's what those of us are doing here. So really, I tell your folks when I meet with you as a prospective student, my job is to get you the heck out of Grand Valley and into someplace else because you want to go to further your schooling after this. So you'll notice that there's all of these different visuals. We'll talk later on about the resources and ready to apply. But for example, if you clicked on the medical one, it would take you to something called a medical school fact sheet. We have this for all of the professional programs that we deal with. I just made an assumption that many of you are pre-med. And so now I will ask for all of you, planning to attend medical school, will you please stand up?
Yep, she was right.
And this is why we fill a lecture hall for the pre-med club meeting. Thank you very much. You got lots of company here. Hopefully you saw one of these fact sheets when you were here at orientation, and I'm just going to highlight a couple of the things that are on here. Notice the yellow. You can major in anything that you want to major in and still go on to professional school. Our student that's at Harvard Medical School was a physics major here. We have a Spanish major entering her 4th year of medical school. I've worked with a philosophy major. Probably one of our strongest pre-dental students I've ever worked with was a business major. So your academic major doesn't matter to us. If we had underwater basket weaving and you chose it as a major, we would work with you to get you to whatever professional school it is. We don't have that as a major. But the point is, if you want to major in dance and go to medical school, that is awesome. We will do that. The next thing I want to point out on the fact sheet are all the courses that are in the boxes. And they're very similar whether you look at pharmacy or vet or med. They all have their own little tweak kinds of things. These are the courses that we would suggest that you take, either because your professional school wants to see them on a transcript, or we know it's going to help you be successful on that test that you have to take to get into optometry school or pharmacy school. So take a look at some of those classes. You will, if you look at all of them, you will notice that there are 5 semesters of chemistry. 2 semesters of Gen Chem, 2 semesters of organic, and then 1 semester of biochemistry. Typically, we will say to you when you get on the chemistry train, you don't get off the chemistry train until you finish all the chemistry courses with that. You'll also see that typically there's a 2-semester sequence of physics. Some of your programs will want calculus, some will not, so you'll want to read that very carefully. In the lower part of the box, it will have some suggestions for electives. By the time you do your general education and you take your academic major, that won't add up to 120 credits typically. So you could pick up a minor. Biomedical sciences can pick up a minor in biology quite easily. You could pick up a chemistry minor with biomedical sciences, but you'll have some courses where you can take some things that are of interest to you. So you want to keep an eye out for that. And then all of our fact sheets at the lower half will talk about the test that you will need to take, as well as the grade point average that your professional school is looking for. We call the lower half of this sheet the metrics, all of the numbers. And every year, Julie goes in and updates these fact sheets with the profile of the people who have enrolled in the most recent fall semester, because they change a little bit from year to year. But I don't want you to focus simply on metrics. I do want you to remember, though, that every course that you take at Grand Valley will be calculated in your grade point average, every attempt. So if you take a class and you're not successful as you would hope, you get a C grade, and you decide to repeat it and you get an A, when you apply to your professional school, all attempts will count in that grade calculation. But all of your professional schools are going to have what we call a holistic review. So it's not just based on the courses that you took, the grade point average, and your test score. If that's all it took to get into vet school, a machine could make those decisions in an automatic admit-refuse decision. But they don't do that. And so they are going to look for that well-rounded applicant. And this slide will show you some of the things that they are looking for. First of all, the shadowing of a person or persons in that profession. We have on our website, under each of those, medical, vet, chiro, a list of shadowing opportunities for you. So we keep track of our students who have applied, and they tell us what doctors, what pharmacists they've shadowed, and then we contact them in the fall, and we thank them for allowing a Laker to shadow at their facility. Last year we even said, you've benefited from the Laker effect, trying to get that branding in. And then we ask them, can we add your name to our shadowing list? And most of the times they're very gracious and say yes. In fact, last year one of them said, of course I want my name on that list. And by the way, I'm a 2002 Grand Valley Laker for a lifetime. So we can set up some of that networking for you. So there's shadowing list. If you're not sure if you want to be an X or a Y, you aren't sure if you want to be a pharmacist or medical doctor, go shadow. That's one of the best ways to do that. The second link that's on here is OrgSync, and you've probably heard about that already through transitions. That's the Facebook page for our over 400 clubs that we have here at Grand Valley. There are a number of them that are attached to healthcare, so we would encourage you to look at those, stop by the tables on Campus Life Night and get signed up for them. Most of them have meetings at 9 o'clock at night to make sure that you can get from your night class. The third link that's on here is the Community Service Learning Center. Their offices are here in the Kirchhoff Center. Their job and their only job is to help you find volunteering opportunities. You do not have to call the Red Cross up one by one and say, hey, can I come volunteer here? That is their job, to go out and find volunteering opportunities for you. The other thing I want you to remember is when you're volunteering, it does not all have to be in a healthcare setting just because you want to be a healthcare provider in the future. Professional schools are looking for, do you have this giving sense in your fiber? Do you understand you're going into a helping profession and you want to give back to people? So it's okay if you want to go volunteer at Habitat for Humanity, or if you want to clean up the garbage that's on Lake Michigan Drive, or you want to volunteer at Art Prize in the city this fall. It's all about volunteering. So go do your Eagle Scout stuff. The cool thing about Community Service Learning Center is they have a function called Service Tracker. And so in 3 years, for most of you, when you're applying to your professional school, you will need to codify, list, report all of the places that you volunteered and the time. I can't remember that for you. I'm lucky to remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. So it's your job to remember where you have volunteered, and Service Tracker allows you to do that. So make sure that you are going in, putting a contact name, putting the hours. We would also suggest that you actually do some reflective journaling after that shadowing opportunity. This was really cool that I got to do this kind of thing. The last link that's on here says Office of Undergraduate Research and Scholarship. We call it OURS, O-U-R-S. They will be having a research fair in October. That's on your pink sheet. And yes, even as a freshman, you can get involved with research here on campus. Just because you're a chemistry major doesn't mean that you have to do research with a chemistry faculty member. And just because you want to do research with chemistry doesn't mean you have to be a major with that. So you can kind of cross departmental lines with doing that research. We've had students do research in the psych department, stats, psychology, all across the board. So if research is something that interests you, do it. Don't just do it because you think you need to have that on your application and part of your resume. It needs to be something that you really want to do. One of the last things that you'll see on the fact sheet is what we call a listserv. We do this for our medical and our dental students, and that's because of the volume. So a listserv is an old technology way of saying, friend me on Facebook. And the instructions are on the fact sheet. You need to sign up with an email. It doesn't work very well when you do it with your phone. But make sure you get on the listserv. For most of you, because you graduated from high school in 2017, you are hoping to get through Grand Valley in 4 years. So you'll want to be on the listserv of when you're going to start professional school, which is 2021. Okay? Oh, and it's, oh, thanks, Julie. It's on the pink sheet as well with that. And that's my part.
Okay, so I'm going to run through some events and workshops. Like Joanne just mentioned, on the back, well, I don't know what side is up for you, but on the side that starts the Class Academic Advising Center, at the bottom there are instructions on how to sign up for those listservs. So we communicate with medical and dental students primarily through the listservs. For the other professions, we will communicate with you through OrgSync, through your clubs. So, and we do send some things to the pre-med club and pre-dental club as well. We want to get connected with you because we have lots and lots of workshops and events for pre-professional students, and we want you to know about them and come to them and get those resources. So if we go on your pink sheets on the other side, not the listserv side, but the other one, I know you've heard about Campus Life Night 1,000 times, so make sure you come to that. We're going to try to get all the pre-professional clubs in the same area. We try that every year. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but we will try this year. Also, we have a nonprofit and volunteer internship fair. So that's a community service learning center that Joanne was talking about. They hold a fair and there's all kinds of volunteer organizations there. That's going to be on September 14th. And it's always been in the Henry atrium, but I guess they're moving it outside to the Kirchhoff lawn, so it must have gotten a lot bigger and they had to expand outside. So, chemistry department. Professor Harrington told us it's going to be September 14th, so that's a Meet the Faculty night. Biomedical Sciences is going to have a similar event. We'll let you guys know when that's going to be. That date hasn't been set quite yet, but usually it's the week after the research fair. Is that right, Dr. Berg? Okay. Suture clinic. You can see a picture of one of our suture clinics up here. So we have students from the College of Human Medicine at Michigan State. And they have a student organization in med school. Yes, there's still student organizations once you get to med school. And it's a surgery interest group. And so they go around to different universities and teach suture clinics for undergraduate students. They started it with us because it was some of our grads. They wanted to come back and help Grand Valley students. So we will host that. That's going to be on October 7th. And we will have sign up for that because there is a fee associated with that. You have to purchase some equipment for that, like your sutures, and you get to keep that afterwards if you want to. And they do it on pig's feet. One year they brought bananas and pig's feet, so you get to try it on 2 different things. But they teach you a bunch of different sutures at that clinic, so it's pretty fun. And it's a great opportunity to network with some current medical students as well. So again, we will have a sign up for that, and we will probably send that out to the listservs. That's another good reason to get signed up for that listserv. The Office of Undergrad Research and Scholarship has a research fair that Joanne mentioned, and that's going to be October 3rd, so make sure you come to that. Each semester, fall and winter, we will have a healthcare experience panel. So as Joanne was mentioning, it's really important to have some medical experience or dental experience, to have on your application, veterinary, what have you. We have a healthcare experience panel where we bring in people from different organizations around Grand Rapids, and they'll talk about their job opportunities and volunteer opportunities. So that's a great way to hear about some of those as well. Michigan Medical Education Day. This is for pre-med students. Sorry you guys missed it. It was at Grand Valley last year. It's going to be at Eastern this year in October 14th. That's a pre-med conference, and it's hosted by the 7 Michigan medical schools in the state. And they put on a full-day conference for you to talk about what they're looking for in applicants and how to be competitive. Usually the pre-med club tries to get a bus to go over there when it's on the east side of the state, but they try to do it on the east side of the state one year and then on the west side of the state the next year to kind of move it around the state a little bit. So make sure you mark your calendars for that date. I believe it's September 18th is going to be the day when they open up registration, and that's going to be on that website, mymeded.org. Okay. Just a couple other things. So we have a professional school fair in March every year. And we bring, last year we had over 70 professional schools in this room and in Pierre Marquette down the hall. And those are schools from all across the country, and we even have a school from Mexico and the Caribbean and all over the place. So make sure you mark your calendars for that, although if it's in March, I don't remember the date, is it the 17th? Yeah. It's either the 14th or right around mid-March. We'll send out the date for that. That's a little bit further away, but make sure you come to that and you get to network with different schools and things like that. I put up the pre-optometry club visit. They visited the Ferris School of Optometry. This is just one thing that the clubs do. They like to go visit schools, or they might bring in reps, like admission reps from schools. They do different philanthropy events together, like they might do a Habitat for Humanity build. So just another reason to get involved in those clubs. Okay, so we do have some time for questions. So we're going to start taking questions, but as we're doing that, if you all could take out your phones and go to this link and take just a brief survey about this session. We just want to know how we did, how we can improve for next year. It's just like an evaluation. So if you go to this website, and while you're all doing that, make sure that you indicate you're in the pre-professional session, and then we can start taking some questions if you have them. Yeah, question. The advisor for the pre-vet club currently is Dr. Terry Trier. He is retiring in December, and we don't know who the new person's going to be quite yet. But yeah. By the way, if you go to OrgSync, on the OrgSync pages for each group, you can see who the advisors are and who the president, vice president. There will be some contact information for the e-board members, executive board members on there. Okay, there's a question that came on the Facebook Live. Is there somewhere where I can find a list of the dates and links in this slideshow? Is Tyler in here? Which dates are you referring to?
I was talking of a little bit earlier in the slideshow. There was a list of important dates. It would actually said important dates on the slide and such.
Yes.
I would have brought a notebook, but I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Good question. So important dates for the semester are found on the Grand Valley website. That blueprint for success is actually in your Laker guide. This has a couple of important dates in it, information on my success check survey and things like that, so you can click on here. If you wanted to find the academic calendar, you can go to the home page and you can look up, you might be able to look at academic calendar, but otherwise it's on the registrar's page. Here we go, academic calendar 17-18. And then you can click on, fall or winter, and you can click on the fall final exams if you want to see the final exam date. So again, I just looked up academic calendar from the homepage, and it brought me right here. So it talks about when classes begin on August 28th, the tuition refund deadline. So again, September 1st by 5 p.m. is that last date that you can add or drop classes. So we want to see you next week if you want to change your schedule, because after next week, it's really, really hard to change your schedule. You have to get approval from different levels of the university, so make sure your schedule is pretty set in stone next week. Okay, other questions? Yes?
Is there a place to see updates to bring up stuff on the thing sheet? Is there a place to see, or just on the website for the advisors?
Yeah, he's asking if there's a way to see updates to the pink sheet. We usually have these at the front desk at the Class Advising Center, and we do put lots of dates on our website as well at the Class Advising Center's main page. So you can see important dates like that on there, but we usually do have these half sheets, and we'll update them whenever we get dates on different things. But again, it's good to get in touch with your pre-professional clubs as well, because usually one of us attends our club meetings, and we will let you guys know about upcoming dates and events and things like that too. We had a question over here.
I have a question. For the Michigan Medical Education Day, I want to be a vet, so is that more focused just on people with medicine?
Yeah, she asked if Michigan Medical Education Day is for other professions. It really is just for pre-med students, that particular one. Although Grand Valley did host a veterinary conference here last year. So there are different things like that. If you do get in touch with your clubs, there's other options like that for your particular area. But yeah, the MMED is what it's called. Michigan Medical Education Day is geared toward pre-med students. Question?
So I don't have a major declared yet, just the pre-professional. So when is like a reasonable time to get that declared?
He said he only has pre-professional declared for now and wants to decide on a major and when's a good time to decide. I would say freshman year, for most of the pre-professional, like the typical majors or most popular majors, freshman year you should be good. It's really getting into sophomore years when you want to start making those decisions on what major you want to do. But we are more than happy, meet with your faculty advisor, meet with one of us. We can talk about different majors with you and find what the best fit is going to be.
Kind of on the flip side of that, if you have declared an academic major, but you didn't declare a second major of pre-professional preparation when you were at freshman orientation, you can go back into that student records area and add that. I can't assume that every cell and molecular biology major is also interested in going to a professional school. So you help us communicate with you if you have that as either a first or a second major.
Question?
So for the Michigan Medical Education Day, since it's on the other side of the state, you said there will be transportation provided for that?
Typically, I can't guarantee that right now, but usually, like 2 years ago, where was it 2 years ago? Wayne State?
Well, 2 years it was Saginaw Valley, and we took a bus, and then the year before when it was at Wayne State, we took a bus. We're the only school that brings a bus. The other medical schools were really impressed with us bringing a bus load in.
And usually it's the pre-med club that would organize something like that. So make sure, and their bus did fill up, so you want to be sure to make it to all the meetings and get on that list if you want to make it on that bus. So I'm assuming they're going to do it again this year. I can't guarantee it, but they usually do that. Other questions? Yes.
You said the pre-med club meets every Tuesday at 9?
Every other Tuesday at 9 p.m. Is their first meeting? Oh.
And what building was that in?
You can't reserve a room until the first week of classes. Typically, we're in the Manitou, one of the Manitou lower level lecture halls.
If you join them in OrgSync, you'll get on their email list, and they'll send out information about their first meeting, and they usually post an event in there as well. So make sure you join them in OrgSync, and then also they'll be at Campus Life Night to let you know. Usually they meet the week after.
They're meeting September 19th and
Septembre 19th.
Okay. Pre-farm meets September 12th for the first one.
I don't know if we've heard their dates quite yet, but again, if you join them in OrgSync, most of the clubs have meetings at 9 p.m. because we have classes that run from 6 to 9, so they want to make sure that every student's able to make it to that. So the majority of the clubs would meet at 9 p.m. It's usually either on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and most of those clubs will meet every other week. Other questions?
I don't have one, sorry.
Okay.
So you're gonna, most all of you you take a chemistry course sometime in fall or winter semester, and it has a lecture and a lab. The pre-professional students are probably the first ones that walk over to the tutoring center and say, I want to get some help with this, either at the Chemistry Success Center or the 2-on-1 tutoring that you can sign up for. Don't wait until midterms, don't wait until the first test that you took and you're not quite as successful as you thought. Tutoring here at Grand Valley is not something that you kind of whisper about. The pre-professional students are, oh, I got physics tutoring on Tuesday, when is yours? So it's kind of we all do this because we want to be very successful. The reason I mention the chemistry tutoring is that it also can turn into a very good way for you to get a job on campus. Those tutors are our students that took those classes a year or two ago, and they did very well in them, and they have a faculty member recommend them for that tutoring position. But remember I said you got 5 semesters of chemistry? So you're going to be a year and a half away from general chemistry when you need to sit and take a test that has general chemistry on it. If you've been a tutor for general chemistry and stayed up with it, you're in a heck of a lot better spot responding and remembering and recalling when you sit for those tests. So would you agree with that, Dr. Harrington? It's an easy way to get a job on campus, and you keep current with your information. So we do that with biology, with chemistry, with physics, with anatomy. There's lots of ways for you to get a job on campus that has a double benefit besides I get a paycheck.
Question?
Where is it that you go to sign up for tutoring?
So there are different ways to get tutoring. There are tutoring labs where you can just walk in and get tutoring. There's tutors available, and even in the Chemistry Success Center, there are faculty available as well. Or you can go and sign up for a one-on-one tutor in the tutoring center, and that's going to be in the Student Services Building, which is right next to here. That's where you make payments and financial aid is. It's on the 2nd floor. Okay. But a lot of times they encourage you to use the centers first, and then if that's just not working out, if you need more one-on-one attention, then you can sign up for a one-on-one tutor. But yeah, I mean, tutoring is for people who are getting a B in a class and want an A. It's not just for people who are failing. And nobody knows if you need help, you guys, unless you ask for it. So there are so many of us that work here that love to help you and have all these resources. But you got to make that choice to come and see us and seek us out, and we're here to help. Okay? We want to see you and get to know you.
So one other thing related to tutoring or extra help, some of you might be in courses that have pass sections. When you registered, you would have had an extra, or it would have said a pass. And we have pass facilitators. So for example, both of my Chem 115 sections have pass facilitators. And so I have one person who's working with my class, but she comes to lecture, she knows what's going on in my class, and if you sign up for tutoring, you can actually request her so that she, and they try and put you with the pass facilitator for that class. So if you are in one of those classes that has a pass facilitator and you are signing up for tutoring, that's something to be aware of, because they are more in tune to what you're actually doing in your specific section.
Okay, any other questions? So make sure that you fill out that little raffle ticket on your chair. Again, we want your name, your email address, and your pre-professional area. And if you could just leave it on a chair that's at the end, so we can just walk up the ends and collect those on your way out. Remember that this is on Facebook Live. We will be posting it. You can watch it later and still post questions to it if you want to do that, or you can email us. We want to see you, okay?